Okay, let's get right into it. When you hear the name Warren Buffett, what comes to mind? Probably incredible wealth, right? Maybe unmatched genius when it comes to investing. But his story, it's so much more than just the money. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the disciplined philosophy that didn't just build an empire, but shaped a truly remarkable legacy. And right off the bat, you run into this giant contradiction. On one side, you have one of the richest people on the entire planet. And on the other, he lives in the very same house in Omaha, Nebraska that he bought way back in 1958 for about $31,000. This contrast, this paradox, it's really the key to understanding the man himself. It's this unique mix of unbelievable financial foresight and just plain down-to-earth wisdom that got him his famous nickname, the Oracle of Omaha. It really speaks to his almost supernatural ability to look at the market, see what everyone else is missing, and make these incredibly wise long-term plays.
But here's the thing. This wasn't a skill he just picked up in some fancy boardroom. To really get Warren Buffett, we have to rewind the clock, all the way back to the beginning, because that business sense, it was there from day one. I mean, just look at this drive at such a young age. Before he was even a teenager, he was out there hustling, selling everything from chewing gum to Coca-Cola. By the time he was 11, he'd already bought his first stock. And get this, by age 15, his little businesses and paper routes were making him more money than his teachers were earning. That's not just a hobby, that's a sign of a legend in the making. So yeah, born in Omaha back in 1930, it's just crystal clear that he had this natural built-in talent for understanding how business and money work. It was just part of his DNA from the very start. But, raw talent can only take you so far. It needs to be focused, to be shaped. And this next part of his journey is where Buffett finds the core philosophy that would guide every single big decision he'd ever make. And it was all thanks to a true master of the investing world. So, after his time at the University of Nebraska, he goes to Columbia Business School. But he wasn't just there for a degree. He went for one very specific reason, to learn from a man named Benjamin Graham. And this mentorship, it wasn't just another class. It became the absolute bedrock of his entire life strategy. So what was this secret sauce that Graham taught him? It's a discipline called value investing. And really, it's a beautifully simple idea. You don't chase fads, you don't follow the hype. Instead, you find genuinely great companies, you wait until you can buy a piece of them for a fair price, and then you just have the patience to hold on.
And this is the playbook right here. Step 1, do your homework. Find solid, well-run businesses. Step 2, be disciplined. Wait for your moment to buy their stock for what it's actually worth, or even less. And then step 3, and this is the hardest part for pretty much everyone. You sit back and you hold on for the long haul. Simple, but not easy.
And if you need proof that this philosophy actually works in the real world, look no further than Berkshire Hathaway. I mean, he took control of what was basically a dying textile mill in the 1960s, and by just sticking to these principles for decades, he turned it into one of the biggest, most successful companies on earth. Now, it's one thing to have a playbook, right? But it's something else entirely to stick to it when the world feels like it's completely falling apart. And this is where Buffett's discipline really shines. His behavior during moments of pure market panic is what sets him apart. Just think back to the 2008 financial crisis. This picture on the left says it all. Pure, unfiltered fear. Panic selling. People just dumping their life savings at huge losses. And Buffett's reaction? He saw a sale. He saw opportunity. With incredible calm and courage, he started putting billions of dollars to work right in the middle of that chaos. He made these massive, almost legendary investments in giants like Goldman Sachs and General Electric when pretty much everyone else thought they were toast. And this isn't a one-off thing. His entire career is filled with these moves, buying American Express, Coca-Cola, and yeah, even much later, Apple, when others were running for the hills. It all comes down to his most famous piece of advice, right? Be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. His entire success is built on that rock-solid focus on a company's long-term value, and his ability to just completely tune out all the short-term noise and panic. But look, if we stop the story there, we're missing the most important part. Because for Warren Buffett, the endgame was never just about piling up money. His real legacy is about totally redefining what it actually means to be wealthy.
And this brings us right back to where we started. He's still in that same house, he drives regular, ordinary cars, he famously loves a simple burger and a Coke. This isn't some act. It's his core belief that fancy stuff just isn't the measure of a good life. Which brings us to this number, 99%. Just let that sink in for a second. That is the incredible, staggering percentage of his massive fortune that Warren Buffett has promised to give away to charity. Not some of it, not most of it, pretty much all of it. And he didn't just make a personal promise and call it a day. No. Along with Bill and Melinda Gates, he co-founded the Giving Pledge. It's a global movement that asks the world's billionaires to give away the majority of their wealth. He's literally building a legacy of generosity on a scale that's hard to even comprehend.
So, when you put it all together, what you get is the Buffett blueprint. And it's not just about investing, is it? It's really a blueprint for life. It's about having patience in a world that wants everything right now. It's about absolute integrity, making smart, rational choices, having true humility, and always, always thinking about the long game.
Which leaves all of us with one final, powerful question to chew on. When you look at his whole journey, from that kid selling Cokes in Omaha to a global icon who's now giving it all away, it kind of forces you to ask yourself, what really is the true measure of a successful life?